Ready? Okay, my name is Tabitha Lenox. I'm the registered licensed dietitian with Master Dietetics. This session is going to be about portion sizes. Okay, so take out your My Pyramid healthy eating plan. It's not My Pyramid anymore. Y'all hear that? It's My Plate, right? Have y'all heard that? It's called My Plate. So don't worry about the pyramids anymore. No. And even before that, we weren't doing the 6 to 12, 8 to 11, whatever, how many portions of grain. No. What are all the food groups? They're right there on the top of your this top row right here. The food groups.
Grain.
Yeah. Remember, it's called protein foods. Okay. That's gonna confuse us in a long time. I like to call it the meat and beans group. I wish you would just say that, because there really is no carbohydrate food group. There's no, protein group, and there's no fat group. Okay, notice it's grains, vegetables, fruit, dairy, and protein foods group. The reason why it's called protein foods group is because some people are against meat, so they decided to take word meat off the thing. So you prefer, for all points and purposes, knock out protein foods. It will confuse you later, as I will show you, and just put meat and beans. If you're vegetarian, that's just what it means, It means food that has enough in its portion in order to equal that food group. So when we first get started, I want to mention that there's a difference between servings and portions. There's a difference between servings and portions. What's the difference? Anybody got an idea what the difference is? Size. Serving is different in the size. Yeah, you're actually on the right track. Yeah. Serving is what's served to you. Exactly. Servings is what's served to you. Let me let Petros know. Petros, I'm gonna be walking around. Don't put the camera on anybody.
Okay.
Okay. Serving is what's served to you. And so portions never change. Portions always stay the same. Okay, now, yes. The portions always stay the same. Servings are what's changed. Okay? So, while we're writing that down, I want to show you that there are two ways how these food groups, what is equivalent to a food in that food group is a portion. What's served to you is the serving. But there's so many portions in the serving. We'll get to that real shortly. But I want to put on here that there are two different types of portions, okay? There's a carbohydrate portion and there's a protein portion. Let's start with the carbohydrates first. Do you remember this? One carbohydrate portion equals so many grams of carbohydrate. One carb portion equals 15 grams of carbohydrate. You're probably like, what in the world? Am I speaking Greek right now? Okay. When you look on your food label, the first thing you should look at is not the calories. The first thing you should look at is trying to figure out what food group that food goes into. And if it is a food that goes to a food group that has carb portions in it, then that's what we need to look at. Number one, first, how many grams of carbohydrate is in that food? 15 grams of carbohydrate is one carbohydrate portion. Why is that significant? Because the body can only absorb so many portions of carbohydrate. For the female body can only absorb 45 grams of carbs, or 3 carb portions. That makes sense? The male body maximum can absorb, and this is the male body, okay? Maximum absorb 60 grams of carbs or 4 carb portions. retain that one because it's going to help us in a minute. Okay, the food groups. So on your sheet, the food groups that have carbohydrate portions in them. Meaning, in order for it to be a portion, it has to have how many grams of carbs? Yes, you got it. So the food groups that have the carb portion are the grains group. Grains. 1 ounce. Okay, now notice your grains are in ounces. How many ounces of grains does it say recommended for 1,800 calories? 6. Yes, 6. 6. So 1 ounce of grain, 1 ounce of grain equals 1 portion. 1 carb portion. Okay? 1 ounce. Go ahead and put it on your sheet. You probably want to write on the front. Right on the front, right next to it where it says underneath in the orange box, put 1 ounce equals 1 carb portion. Does everybody have a pencil or something to write with? Okay. 1 ounce equals 1 carb portion. The vegetables group, only the starchy vegetables and the beans and peas have carb portions in it. Okay? So like right here, the starchy vegetable, put like a little thing. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you got it. Like a little arrow there and said that's gonna be okay. Now half a cup of vegetable. Let's just kind of step back a little bit. Half a cup of vegetable is 1 portion. Not all vegetables have carbohydrate portion in them. Okay, so half a cup of vegetables equals 1 portion. Only for the carb group. Okay, only for the starchy veggies and the dry beans and peas. Only those half a cup of that is equal to 1 carb portion, or 15 grams of carbohydrate. Okay. All your fruit, half a cup of fruit equals 1 portion, 1 carb portion. All your fruit. Now, while you're kind of soaking this in, you'll see some people say, "Oh, don't eat your fruit. Don't eat banana. Don't eat potatoes." Wait a minute. Yeah, eat the potato, but you got to eat the right portion. Okay? Because your body can absorb that. And this is going to be a little tricky. Okay? The milk group, the dairy group, your yogurt and your milk has 1 carbohydrate portion in it. Okay? Yogurt and milk has 1 carb portion. Cheese doesn't, okay? And if it's going to be a milk, this is important, if it's going to go into the dairy group, it also has 1 protein portion as well. So it's going to be a carb portion and a protein portion. This is going to be interesting. We'll get to that in a minute. It's got 2 portions or in 1 glass of milk.
Is that 8 ounces or?
8 ounces, yeah, we're going to do that. So 8 ounces of milk has 2 portions in it. It's got a carb portion and a protein portion in it. Okay? Now let's get to, does everybody get the carb portions right now? How many grams of carbohydrate can the female body absorb for 4 hours? Remember, it's 4 hours, not per day. 4 hours. Okay, how many come in? Okay, and then how many grams of carbohydrate is a carb portion? We got it. We got it. So this is what today is about. We're running these portions. Now let's get to protein portions, okay? Then we'll get to regular food. So we already understand that what is a protein portion? We understand that milk has a protein portion in it as well. So now let's do protein portion.
You said this is not per day, it's per 4 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours.
Yes, 4 hour period.
You're not going to for carbs.
Yes.
You could easily.
Oh yeah, you have to, because remember, carbohydrates are necessary for the body. That's the only energy the muscles use at all. If you don't give yourself carbs, guess what it's going to do? Break down your muscle tissue, which is your metabolism. It'll break down your muscle tissue and make ketones, and you don't want that happening. Okay? Not efficient. Not efficient. Okay. Right? One protein portion. So we have protein portions. Okay, so we're going to go to protein portion now. One protein portion is 7 grams of protein. Okay, let's spell protein right. E before the I, proteins. Okay, now, the female body can only absorb so many portions of protein. Female body, of course, 4 hours, 25 grams of protein is your goal. Male body, 35 grams in 4 hours. Now, I didn't go into what happens when your body eats more than that, but basically your body can only absorb so much of one nutrient at one time. When we're talking about carbohydrate, protein, these are not food groups, these are nutrients, okay? So when you go over on your carbs, what happens? Your body starts making tears on the walls of your arteries, and it starts promoting whatever you're genetically susceptible to: diabetes, heart disease, obesity. Some people, it triggers their anxiety, triggers their drug addiction, alcohol addiction, sexual addiction, whatever. So that's that. Okay. With protein is different. Protein, when you have too much protein in your body, it doesn't get absorbed. It's not trying to go into your muscle cells. That only so much can be used for repair of tissue, not building of tissue. Okay, repair, just a little bit of helping in repair. Carbohydrates going to help with the building. Okay. So what happens is the rest of the protein goes into the lymphatic system, causing increased risk for your other things like allergies, symptoms, if you have some joint pain, fibromyalgia pain, joint pain, stuff like that, then it increases that. Putting stress on the kidneys, putting stress on the liver, we don't want that happening. Okay? So that's the maximum amount. Isn't that so backwards? We were told not to eat any carbs and to eat a whole bunch of protein. And now what's the most important, what's the highest inflammatory disease that we have out now? Diabetes, cholesterol, high blood pressure, obesity. All those are inflammatory responses.
That's the Atkins diet, right?
It is.
Carbs, all protein.
Yeah, and that's the most popular thing. But I'll tell you that it wasn't the Atkins diet was not developed in 1970 or 1990s. The first Atkins type diet was in 1825. If it has been working, if it works for humans, then why we still having the obesity and overweight? It doesn't work in the long run. It doesn't. It works for. Let me tell you what that is from. That's from nutritionists. Remember, there's different between nutritionists and a dietitian. So nutritionists feeding humans like show cows. Anybody been at FFA? Okay. You know how to make a lean cow lean. You'll hear them. They are even telling you today how they will tell you, in order to make a cow lose weight, take off the carbs. Excuse me, humans are different than animals. I don't care what a PETA says. Humans are different from animals. We are different. We are not designed to go out there and show and then get slaughtered. We are designed to live at least, right now, 85 years, maybe 120 years. You can't live like that for a long time, like you were saying. It's not a long-term thing.
Well, if you started your carbs after you've been on that diet, you gain weight in a week.
Well, we're supposed to eat yeah, because you're supposed to eat carbohydrates. So it's it's not even healthy. Basically, is what you're saying. It's not healthy. This is what I'm showing you is healthy. People losing their weight, and they're all losing their weight, and they just stay the healthy weight a long time because they're learning how to eat. We don't know portions yet, so that's what we're doing. Okay, so protein portions. Remember, let's go back to the milk group or the dairy group. Still transitioning to the new place. The dairy group.